Hello, Hawkeye fans. Welcome to another episode of Morning Brews.
Hawkeye.
Yeah, it's dude, we're 2-0. We gotta start this off right. Another episode of Morning Brews, and it's actually morning time, so now it's really Morning Brews, not afternoon brews like the previous. Rob has upgraded us. He has a light that he's holding over his head right now. It's pretty cool. It's really bright, but it adds another level of professionalism to this event. Excited to come to you today. We got a few things to celebrate. Brought my man Kent, my man Josh, my man Andy, my man Matt to talk about a couple new beers that are coming out in the next, 24 hours. We have one coming out tomorrow morning on Saturday. Saturday, the UNI game. Can't remember the date. Remember the date? What's tomorrow?
Tomorrow's the 15th.
15th. And then the previous week, we have another beer coming out. So thought it'd be a fun time to just chat about those.
Previous week. It's already out.
The following week.
22nd.
That's when Rob drops that first beer thing on me and makes fun of me. But anyways, we're excited, and we're going to start chatting about some things and let you know what's going on. So tomorrow, we have a beer coming out called Starla. It's been a project that we've been talking about for probably 6 months. Beer that I'm extremely excited about. They did a small batch, way back when, just as a test batch. It took a pale wheat ale, and then they hopped the hell out of it. With a bunch of different hops. I smelled it and I said, we need that beer, we need to make that beer, and then we did a couple tries. I think one went poorly and one went extremely well, and I think we're at the extremely well part of that journey. Berkey, our assistant brewer, is filling up a pitcher to bring over to us now. Ken, do you want to kind of talk about that beer a little bit? What's going on with it?
Yeah, so it's
Thank you, sir.
we use the same yeast as we use in all of our hazy beers, so it's kind of in that same vein. It's a lot lighter. It comes in at just over 6%. Is that right, Andy?
Yeah, it's
You
about
did the math.
6.3.
So it's, compared to Big Ed, it's much easier to drink, and I actually prefer it. It's got a nice dry finish so that it cleans off the palate nicely, but still full of flavor up front. Still got that juicy thing going on that all the cool kids are wanting. All
Me.
the cool kids right here.
I love that stuff.
So it's a Amarillo, Simcoe, heavily hopped, and it's something that kind of fills in all the blank spaces that we have with the juicy beers right now. So much lighter, much easier to drink than the Big Head. So 2 or 3 of these back and still be wanting more.
Yeah, it's really bright, really fruity. Love it.
I mean, if lots of hops are good, then more hops is better, right?
Yeah, I think that's what we did. Yeah.
This has a little bit more of an assertive bitterness, which I kind of like personally.
Yes.
It's not aggressive by any stretch, but it's at least there.
Yeah, and when you're talking about, like, Big Ed's the one referencing the double version that we put out of a hazy beer a couple weeks ago, and that one was super juice factor. I said it again. Man. Super juicy beer with very little to no bitterness on the backside. So you it's a pop in the top, and then it kind of fades and dissipates quickly. This one's gonna last a little bit longer and have a little bit more staying power, I think, on the tongue.
It's got a nice peppery note to it.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Sharp is not the word to use. It's not sharp, but it is more cleansing, crisper. As much as that beer does not look crisp at all.
Yeah.
I mean, it smells like a bag of hops to me, instead of just being like, oh, it's super orangey or pineapple-y or tropical fruity, which there are those notes, but it smells more like a bag of hops.
I mean, one of the big differences for this beer, and maybe Andy, you can talk to this a little bit, is this has a lot more of a wheat back.
Yeah, and it spawned from our house wheat beer, our Main Street wheat, and then we were just kind of West Main wheat, but I always flip those around. And so we kind of started with that. That's what we were experimenting with when we got this beer going, and just kind of like the idea of a little bit lower ABV, a little bit more drinkable, and just kind of a sessionable style. And so we kind of modified it a little from that beer, but it's turned into Starla here. I think it's a great drinking beer.
Yeah, absolutely. And then just a quick 2 cents on the name Starla. I think it as my sweet baby Starla, but that's not where it came from. So who wants to talk about where the name came from? Because it's kind of cool.
Hops guy should talk about.
I'm looking at you.
Yeah. Starla is it's like a bucket lift that we use to dry hop and clean fermenters. We used a forklift for a while with a man cage, and that was not as much fun. And then we got kind of rotates around very nicely and can get around things pretty well and go up and down a lot of different ways. So as soon as we got that, it was kind of a game changer for us, especially for dry hopping. So beers like this, when you're dry hopping aggressive amounts, it's nice having Starla there to back you up.
It's literally the name of the machine, right?
It's like STAR and then a couple numbers, and then we were just really stupid about it. Like, hey, we should name it Starla because it's already got 4 of the letters on there.
So Starla is a mythical beast that lives in the brewery, but everything that happens above the tanks is done with Starla. So when we're adding fruit to beers, when we're dry hopping, when we're really putting the finishing touches on beers or cleaning, that's the unit we use. So it's pretty fitting that a beer that's featuring a ton of hops is called Starla. Plus, it's just a really pretty name, and I love it. So it's exciting. But this beer comes out tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow morning, yeah.
Tomorrow morning.
Having it at open. We open in 11?
11 tomorrow, yeah.
Normal open. So, yeah, ittle be on when the doors open.
Yep. And then we're just selling this, I think, by the
12-ounce glass.
The 12-ounce glass, and then there's growlers and crowlers available too. Limited batch. This one did come out of Solon, so we only netted about 6 barrels or a couple hundred gallons. So it's going to go fast, but excited to bring a new offering to you and hopefully enjoy. Second thing I wanted to talk about today was the Wisconsin game coming up after this weekend on Saturday. We're going to throw our own mini Iowa tailgate Oktoberfest party. And with that, Kent worked real hard and made a beer a really long time ago, and that's what we're drinking right now. And I think he's the man to talk about it and kind of maybe the timeline, and then also what's been going on with it and what your goals are with this beer.
So
this is our Oktoberfest.
You've been wanting a fest beer for a while.
Yes.
You've been wanting that as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
Problem with fest beers, you have to make them before Oktoberfest. You got to make them in the spring. So we made this.
So it's called a Märzen.
It's called a Märzen.
Because they're supposed to be made in March.
There you go.
We did not make this in March. We made it in May.
It's still MA though.
It's still MA, and we still are just gonna just pretend that we made it in March. It's a Märzen beer. So this is 4 months in the making. It's a lagered amber ale. We use Cara Red and Munich malt, and that's the only thing that's in this beer is German Munich malt and Cara Red, German hops, Mexican yeast, and 4 months of tank time. So we filtered this week. Didn't really know what to expect, but I think we're pretty happy with the results.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's fun to do a traditional lager style where a lot of times now lagers get moved through in a couple of weeks, a couple of months at the longest. And this one we really took our time with it and it was just hanging out in the serving tanks and the cooler for several months, and then kind of finished it. And I'm excited.
What does that do to the beer when it sits longer in the tanks? What does it do for flavor profile? What does it change?
I mean, it's specific to this beer. We've just noticed that we've tried it over the last couple of months, and it just gets a little bit cleaner, and it kind of just it matures. It's gotten to a much nicer spot. The yeast it does all its fermentation. It kind of cleans up after itself, and then it starts to settle out over that lagering period, and it just turns into a nice clean beer.
Well, this beer came out of the server looking like this.
Really?
The filter did nothing. If I had seen how clean it was going to come out of that before I set it up to transfer, I would not have filtered.
That's because it had so much time.
It had so much time to settle out.
Yeah.
I mean, so it was a traditional. I mean, that's what a lager should do. Is it should just settle out, be bright, be clean, be delicious. And
awesome.
This beer actually was able to do that. We gave it enough time that it was able to do that.
Yeah. Josh, got any thoughts on this one?
I'm a big fan of Oktoberfest beers. I'm not usually a big lager drinker, but Oktoberfest is always one of my favorite styles of beer to get every fall.
Yeah.
Go usually with like Weihenstephan or Eyinger or whatever. Lots of caramel and like biscuit notes in them, and they're just really easy to drink, and they just remind me of fall.
Yeah.
This one I think definitely hits all the notes, but there's a little tinge of big growth in there. I think there's a little bit of bitterness, not like overly aggressive or anything, but it's just like a little long-lasting staying power on your tongue, I suppose.
Well, I came in expecting to have Starla blow my mind because that's the beer I've been so excited about, but this is so different. I mean, this is phenomenal. I mean, this gets my A+ stamp of approval. This is phenomenal beer. This is the first time I'm trying it on camera. It's amazing.
Smooth. You can easily drink 3 or 4 of them.
Oh, dude, you could drink this all day. What's the percentage on this?
5.9.
5.9. Yeah.
So and it hits. I mean, it's sweet up front, biscuit, caramel, and then that finish is what I just love about a good German lager. It's got that dry finish that just makes you want to go back and try another sip.
Well, these are 2 great offerings. So again, the Starla is coming out this Saturday. 2 Saturdays from now, we have our Oktoberfest beer. We're calling it Fest Beer. Coming out for our Iowa, Wisconsin tailgate Oktoberfest party. We're going to dress up and maybe play a little polka music. And then I think the highlight's going to be when we do a showdown. Iowa fans, Wisconsin fans, Steinhold. Who's going to make it happen? Who's going to win? It better be the Hawks. Otherwise, it's going to be a big issue. But they drink a lot in Wisconsin, though, so maybe they might get us. But, dude, you guys, this is phenomenal beer. Well done. And, again, this is we're doing a party for this one because it is limited quantity. We did 2 batches up in Solon. How much did you end up netting on this?
About 14 and a half barrels.
Yeah, so should last for a little bit, but I think you're going to want to get here, get it early, and drink a lot of them. It's tasty. You guys got anything else to add? Anything else going on we need to talk about?
I mean, this is just quintessential tailgating beer to me. When you got those nice, cool tailgating Saturdays, and this beer just goes so well with it. I love it.
I love it too. I wish we would have made more.
Oompa Stoompa is the name of this beer.
Oh, nice.
The internal name is
the internal name. Yeah, nice. Well, we appreciate you hanging out with us. Like you said, these are the most casual, fun things we do, just to kind of let you know what we're doing. It's hard to express to the community when these guys are making all these new beers all the time, what's happening with it, and also what's going on in tap room up in Solon. The party's in both spots. I should have clarified that. But yeah, we're just looking to get you guys some new products and enjoy, and thanks for all the support. We love you all. Cheers.
Cheers.
Prost. Prost, that's better, yeah.
Just got to be different, don't you?
Well, I'm drinking German beer.